Bushcraft 412 here, and I'm going to make a quick video on first aid kits. Now, I've bought a bunch, and I really don't think first aid kits just come complete as they are. I really feel like you need to mix and match the contents and come up with a good kit as to something that's going to fit your needs. Now, I tend to use store-bought kits and then add my own contents. For example, this right here is a little plastic container I bought. Maybe a dollar store, Walmart, might have even been military surplus. You basically put your gear in it, slide it together, nice little kit. It's kind of small, but good for day hikes. This one is an old military surplus one. I took the contents. You can get these at Army Navy stores for cheap. You know, kind of pilfer the contents and then use them for what you want, and then you know, they're plastic, hard plastic, so you're not going to leak. Everything will stay nice and dry. They're a little bulky, but they're okay. These are some Walmart kits I bought a while back. Contents are long gone, but I keep them. They're a nice little thing. They're easy to find in your pack. They're red. They have, you know, they really stick out, so you don't lose them. This is another one. I can't remember if this is Walmart or a dollar store, but just something you can even put it on your belt, clip to your backpack. Easy to get to if you really need it. Enough said. You can use anything. You don't have to use a pre-made thing. You can just put your stuff in a Ziploc bag. It doesn't need to be pretty, as long as it works. Let's talk about some of the stuff I keep in there. First thing, let's talk about the most overused thing. Whenever you buy a kit, you're going to get Band-Aids. You know, it's thrown everywhere. And you don't need a ton of them. You know, if you're going on an overnight trip, you might need 1 or 2 Band-Aids. This is a collection from all the kits I've gotten over the years, and I don't use enough Band-Aids to make it worthwhile to bring them all, but I have all different shapes and sizes in here. The big knuckle Band-Aids, small Band-Aids, butterfly Band-Aids in case you get something that might, you know, be borderline stitches. I just keep them in here. They're, you know, I throw 1 or 2 in my kit when it's time. Next, let's talk about gauze pads, because I have a million gauze pads as well. They come in different shapes, different sizes, from small to larger to really large. It's good to have a good sterile gauze pad or 2 in your pack, because if you really do get an open wound, it's nice to have something sterile you can put on that. So it's a lot safer. You don't got to worry about infection as much. But have 1 or 2 of these in your pack. You don't need the gigantics, maybe a small one. This is a military surplus one. It's gigantic camo. So big gigantic one. I bring this if like I'm in a group of large people. That way I do have a big dressing just in case. Another thing, this rarely makes the cut, but this is an instant cold pack. You can get these, you know, you basically break them, then they get cold. Neat thing to have. I do this particularly when I'm hiking up mountains, because you never know when you're going to twist an ankle, or someone's going to twist an ankle or break an ankle, and to have a cold pack like this really can help. Really take a lot of the misery away if someone gets hurt bad. So, item to consider when you got the space. Let's move on to foot care. Every once in a while, if it's going to be a long trip, I will bring some foot powder. Definitely helps for those long trips, keeping your feet in good shape. Complement that with moleskin. I have a million different pieces over the years that I've collected. I always throw a piece or 2 in my bag for blisters. You know, sometimes all you need is just a little one, but got the big ones too. Wet ones. Great one. These are the greatest substitute for toilet paper on earth. They're great for cleaning up at the end of the day. I love bringing these, and they're small. They fit right in your pack. You know, it's great, great thing to have to keep yourself clean. Hygiene, you know, from what I've read, the biggest cause of giardia in the woods is sanitation, getting your own, you know, feces and urine on yourself and infecting yourself. Gotta keep clean. Great way to keep clean. Small. Get these at the dollar store. Another nice little item is chapstick. Got a couple that have come with my kits throughout the years. Particularly when you're camping in the cold, this is a must-have. But good thing to have. A lot of uses. A lot of these are petroleum based, and you can use them as fire starter as well. You know, put some fluff in there, some dryer lint or whatever in your pack, and you can use this to make a good fire starter. But it's good. Good item to have. Super glue, nature's band-aid. I keep a tube of this. It was actually developed to use as like a liquid band-aid, so use it for what it was made for. If you get a cut, great thing, clean it up with some antibiotics, seal it up with this. Sewing kit. Little dollar store sewing kit. Needle in there, as you can see. Something I keep in a lot of my kits just in case something breaks or an emergency. Good to have. Here's another one with some extra needles. This is really small. It's good to have a couple of extra needles. For the gram they might weigh, it's worth having them. Safety pins. Another nice item to have in your kit. Because if you put this in your backpack, you're going to lose it. You put it in your first aid kit, you're going to know where it is. Good place to store little stuff. Tweezers for ticks and whatnot. I don't bring these hardly ever, but they came with one of my kits. Here's a dollar store sewing kit. I don't really bring it with me, but I use some of the stuff from it occasionally. Let's move on. Another item I keep in my kit. I always throw a couple water purification tablets in my first aid kit. Great little item to have in a pinch. You know, you don't got time to boil water. It's an emergency. You know, you've got fresh water in 20 minutes with these. I always keep a couple in my first aid kit because they're so small. And then you know where they are. Those small items, you put it in your first aid kit, you don't lose them. Now let's move on to the little stuff. And this stuff is, I'll just run through it real quick since we all know what it is. These are just wet naps. Same thing as the wipes, but smaller. Good substitute. Hand sanitizer cream. You can get this or a little jar. They do make the little itty bitty jars. These are flammable, make good fire starter. But you got to keep clean out in the woods. You can't get sick. Burn cream. I keep one or two of these in there, and these come in a lot of like first aid kits. You can scavenge this out. Throw one of these packs in there. You know, if you get a little burn from the fire, great to have. Lip ointment. These are something else that came with it. Never really use them because I always bring the tubes with me. These are a little tiny sunscreen. I like these because I've gotten caught out in the sun and been begging for sunscreen. And I said, oh geez, I got one of these in the bottom of my first aid kit. Bill, you know, great little, just throw one or two of these in the bottom. Neosporin antibacterials. Great for if you get cut. I'd throw a handful of these, 3 or 4 in there, because if you do get a bunch of little cuts, it's nice to be able to, you know, clean them up with this. This is probably what I take the most of anything. Hydrocortisone cream. I bring a couple of these. Good for bug bites, good for any itches, poison ivy, anything. It'll really make your day a lot better if you get into something nasty. Here's another must-have. I don't know where to get these aside from first aid kits. I'm sure you can get them somewhere, but these are poison ivy wipes. I am very, very, very allergic to poison ivy. I break out if I even look at it. These things actually do work. I have gotten into poison ivy and used this, and they work 100%. I always have 1 or 2 of these in my pack. This is a bug insect relief, like liquid roller. Came with a kit. Neat little thing. Ooh, that's a loose band-aid. Insect repellent. Carry the jar, carry whatever you want, but this is just little small ones to show you. I generally will carry a thing of DEET with me out in the woods because the bugs are really rough in New York. Now let's get on to medicines, because when you're out in the woods you really do need a little bit of medicine with you. You can get these little travel ones. They do work great for 1 or 2. You don't want to bring a whole bottle and waste all that weight. Tylenol, good to have. Imodium. If you get diarrhea, you get sick from the water, Imodium is a great way to plug yourself up. keep from getting dehydrated. Gotta have one of these in your pack. This is just some generic allergy medicine. Probably, you know, the cheapest store brand one there was. I just throw one or two. Good for the sniffles. Benadryl. Most important thing to have in your first aid kit of anything. Benadryl is an antihistamine. If you have an allergic reaction to something, you need Benadryl. You need it, need it, need it. If you go into anaphylactic shock, Benadryl may buy you that extra time so you don't die. Cuts on swelling, itching, all that stuff. If you have allergies, you know, this is a must-have. Absolutely must-have. Especially because you never know. You can get stung by a bee tomorrow and suddenly become allergic. A Benadryl or two might buy you enough time to get out of that woods. Bring it. In fact, I got a ton of it. I will not leave home without it. It could save your life. It could make your day. I've actually had a reaction to a spider bite. This stuff will be your biggest friend in the woods. I got some Advil, some more Benadryl, Advil liquid caps, more Advil, Motrin, more Motrin, more Benadryl, Tylenol, cold and flu, just in case. You know, you get the cold, get the flu. These are, what are these? This is some more generic allergy medicine. Kind of a good thing to have. All different brands, cheap, nice. Sometimes I do bring loose if I have a prescription. Loose ibuprofen 800s. Good to keep swelling down for a hard hike. If you take a couple of these before your hike, they will keep the swelling down. You won't be as sore. Especially good in the morning if you wake up and you are sore and you are swollen. So if I ever have these, if I do have a prescription, I will bring a couple of these with me just to be sure. And that's it. This is kind of the stuff I have in my first aid little locker. Like I said, I mix and match. I put this stuff all together, and I make a kit based on what I need. An overnight trip, you know, it's going to be small. If I'm going with 5 guys for a week, I bring, you know, a big kit. You know, suit it down to your needs. Don't bring more than you need. And the best place to get stuff is, you know, military surplus. You know, Army surplus kits. Dollar store first aid kits, Walmart first aid kits. Plus, if you know people who are nurses or work in hospitals, great way to get, you know, supplies is through them. And just some thoughts on that. I guess that's it. Bushcraft 412. Thanks for listening.